Hello, my name is Pamela Mccabe. I worked in ALLDERS from 1997 until 2010. I was a housewife. My husband used to be a coach driver. He used to take the Crystal Palace team about. We lived in Woodside, just up by Ashburton Park, for 42 years before we moved to South Croydon in 2002. So my children all live mostly local. One of them's moved down to Eastbourne at the moment. So, yeah. So I worked at BOROUGH for a while as well.
So can you remember starting at ALLDERS?
Yes, I do. When I went home that day, I was absolutely shattered. I was terrified, thinking, what have I done all day? And I worked right at the front of the shop by the entrance doors, and there was Edinburgh Crystal, all different concessions around us, and I started there. Sorry, I started there as a sales assistant and for Shot Sweezel, and when the manager left, they asked me whether I'd like to take over as manager, and I did that for a few years. I started in ALLDERS, it must have been 1997, and I worked for on china and glass floor for Shot Sweezel, and it was taken over eventually by Viners, and eventually when it did close down, I went to work for Arthur Price. That was on the china and glass floor as well. But when I worked for Shot Sweezel, I was lucky enough to be invited by the German company to go to Germany to see the glass factories. So we went to Leipzig and Mainz, where they had factories. So that was an interesting thing, and I was very lucky to be able to do that, yeah. Well, I worked for a concession, which was Shot Sweezel, which is part of ALLDERS. ALLDERS is under the umbrella of ALLDERS. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. And you worked there for quite a long period.
Yes, I did.
Always in the same department?
Yes, when I worked in china and glass, yeah. It was all on the china and glass floor because Arthur Price was on the china and glass floor as well. And eventually, when it was all moved upstairs, Shot Sweezel then had gone, and it was Arthur Price and the general ALLDERS, main glassware department. So, yeah.
And you said you were also managing the
yes,
department.
I was the manager of Shot Sweezel department, the concession. Yeah.
And what was your role there exactly? What did you do?
Just to reorder the stock, and we had to take on like Saturday girls and evening staff, that sort of thing. So I was sort of in charge of display and things like that. So that was quite interesting to change the displays around to make it look interesting. So.
Can you describe a little bit how the shop looked like at the time?
Oh gosh, it was wonderful. Everything was shining and beautiful, and people used to like to walk through the china and glass because all the ornaments and the glassware, and it was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And it was such a shame when we had to move upstairs, but when we were on the ground floor, we had lots of people come through because they liked to look at all the glassware. And so we tried to make it as interesting as possible for them, really. Yeah.
And did you have direct contact to the customers?
Oh yes, definitely. Yes. I used to work with the customers as well, and we had our stock room and stock takes, and people used to ask for different types of glasses. The reason, to use them for, different types of glasses, different shapes. So that was quite interesting. Yeah, we did used to have quite an interest in that as well. So yeah.
Do you remember any discussions with clients or with customers? Maybe any difficulties you had with them?
Difficulties? Not really, no. That's hard to think. I mean, sometimes you didn't have the glass in stock that they actually wanted, and you could try and arrange to get it in for them. So, not always, but most of the time they went away quite happily. So, even if they had to wait a couple of weeks, for us to obtain that. So, yeah.
And was there kind of management of the customers? Do you had a list of the customers or the potential customers or the regulars?
No, we didn't have a list of them. No, we just had to write down everything that was sold and send it up to head office, which was up in Stafford. But customers used to come and go, so we didn't have any. We sometimes had a regular customer that came in for things, but in general it was people coming through and seeing the glassware. So, yeah. So.
What about your colleagues and management, office management?
What, in management or colleagues that worked for me?
Either or both.
I think there was, we had Saturday girls and evening staff sometimes if it was a late night. But we used to have meetings probably on a Tuesday morning where you could come in early and everybody would be upstairs and there would be a meeting around things that were going on in the Alders store. So that was interesting as well to get a bit of insight into things that were going on there. Yeah. So.
Did you have any contact to the other departments?
Well, we all got on together. Yes. I mean, there was Edinburgh Crystal. Derek had been working for Edinburgh Crystal for years. There was a Derek, and he was so helpful. He worked for Alders for a long while, and any problems that you had, you could ask Derek, and Derek could come over and help you out. So there was other departments, Villeroy. I can't think of them all at the moment, but they were all. Yeah, we all helped each other out, really. So. Yeah.
How about the general management, the upper management? Did you have any contacts with them?
Only if they were walking around, nothing in particular, no. They didn't really, as long as we did the work properly, we didn't really have anything to do with the management, really.
So nobody came around and interfered in your work? Well,
they could come around and we could have a talk with them if you wanted to speak to them about anything. Or you could go upstairs and any problems you could sort out with them. But very rarely did we have anything to report, really. They were quite helpful. When they used to walk around the store, so you'd know that, if there was anything you needed to ask them, then obviously then you could do that. They were quite approachable, yeah. There was a Mr. Bat, I remember, who was in charge of Alders at some point. I can't remember the years that he worked there, but he was like the head honcho, if you like, so Mr. Bat.
And what are the Saturday girls?
Oh, yes, there was Laura Barry. I think she's in one of the photos there. She was very good, Laura, yeah. So, well, she was one of the good ones, let's put it that way. Some of them weren't always quite so good, but she was brilliant. You could trust Laura to do anything, really. So, and we were like a joint department next door. We shared a till with Stuart Crystal, and we could help each other out there as well. If they had a customer, you could help them. If we had one and there wasn't anyone there, obviously they could help out as well. So that was nice. We could have a coffee together and things like that, So, yeah.
What was the role of the Saturday girls?
The Saturday girls, well, they were usually people that were at college or something like that, and they'd come in and they knew the stock, you know, we could teach them the stock, and they were very, you know, trained in doing their job, because they knew things sometimes that sometimes I hadn't remembered. So yeah, Saturday girls were brilliant. And sometimes on a late night, I think on a Thursday night, sometimes we'd have a late night and they'd come in. Sometimes a different Saturday girl, but Laura, I remember Laura really, really well. She was there when I first started, so yeah, so.
And what about the atmosphere, working atmosphere in general?
Oh gosh, yeah. No worries about that. Yeah, the atmosphere was really so helpful. Everyone would help each other out. If there was any problems, any of the other people that worked there, if you spoke to them, they'd always help out with things. Gosh, yeah. It was a lovely atmosphere to work in, really was.
What about any cultural or other activities were you engaged with through ALLDERS?
Cultural?
Yeah, or any other activities? Any social?
I don't know. Well, we used to have a social club upstairs, yeah. So I think that was open usually in the evenings till about 9 o'clock. You could always go up there after work. We used to have quiz nights, music nights and things like that, where we could go and join in. Some of the staff used to organise it. I think Kay that I used to work with, and her partner Roger, they used to organise the quiz nights, and we had quite a few people attend those, so they were really interesting. And sometimes the staff would put on some sort of a music night up there and sing, and so that was interesting as well. So yeah, especially if it was one of the managers, you know.
But it's quite unusual. You had a club where you could attend after work in the ALLDERS building.
Yes, yeah. They used to open there was a bar upstairs in the, yeah. And when I first started working there, they used to have the canteen. Well, the canteen was always there, but they used to serve food when I first started there. They used to do breakfast, like a 3-course breakfast. They used to do lunches, and obviously, because my son worked a little while there in menswear, and he used to quite enjoy going up for the breakfast. And but eventually that dwindled out. But it went on for quite some time. I can't remember when it actually finished, but they did food, like hot food and everything up there, so that was nice. And you go up there for your tea breaks and things in the morning. And at Christmas time, they used to do a staff dinner, and it used to be the managers that used to serve it, but they were dressed like as elves and Father Christmas and things like that. So that was nice as well. And they'd have a little raffle as well. So yeah.
So when and why did you leave?
When and why?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was only working for 2 days a week for rather the price, and in 2006 we bought a house in Spain. So eventually it was difficult to go into work. So, and I was asked to look after my grandson, and it was time then to leave, really, because I couldn't donate enough time to do the 2 days a week, and so I gave up the job then. Yeah.
And how was the leaving for yourself? Was it emotional?
Yes, of course, yeah, because I worked for Kay Lawson, and we had, she was really good, manager to me. That I do keep in touch with her still, and yeah, it was sad to go, because I'm so used to going there as well. It was like going to another home in a way, You were going to work, but you knew that when you got there, everything was going to be okay. So.
And what did you do afterwards?
Looked after my grandson. And that, no, not a lot really. I was just at home really. I didn't do any voluntary work or anything like that. So, but yeah.
You know, when you worked at ALLDERS, when you talked to your family, to your friends, about what was the status of working at ALLDERS? Was it just any shop, or was
Oh
it special?
gosh, no, it wasn't any shop. No, it was ALLDERS. You could get anything in there that you wanted, and you knew that it was quality as well. Yeah. So yeah, my mother-in-law, my daughter's mother-in-law, she worked in ALLDERS for quite some time, different departments, and she actually served, I think, Terry Scott, the actor, once. She worked for Theo, and he bought a pearl necklace from her. And I remember we had, I think it was, what was her name now? I can't remember it. Gosh, we had, excuse me looking at this, because Max Bygraves came in because my daughter got his autograph. So we had a few celebrities coming because there was a pantomime over the road in Fairfield Halls. So that was good as well. And also I think was Terry Scott. Yeah, there was the Nolan sisters as well that came in at one time. A few visitors like that, and Katie Price came in. There was sort of a fashion show. She was quite late arriving, about an hour late, I remember, because everyone was waiting for her, but she eventually did turn up, yeah, so.
And when you worked at ALLDERS, and you went, for instance, you left at lunchtime, how did Croydon inner city look like at the time?
It was, well, I mean, it was still, ALLDERS was still going after I left ALLDERS, but it wasn't the same. Things had changed, I don't know, dramatically. And the Whitgift Centre as well was beginning to run down as well, which was a shame. And I think a lot of people missed ALLDERS, as they did years ago with Woolworths, when Woolworths was there. And a lot of the shops there are different sort of shops now. They're not the sort of shops that you really want to go in, all into Croydon to see, really. And the department store was so good there, our ALLDERS. Yeah.
But you know, when you started, how did Croydon look like when you came out of the shop?
How did it look like?
Yeah, how was the atmosphere there?
Not as many people around, I don't think, as there used to be. Because all the years ago, you used to have traffic all going through the North End there, but that all stopped. But I think that, yeah, it was different in a way. It wasn't the same. It was hard to say. A lot of the buildings and a lot of the shops that used to be there had closed down, which was unfortunately not just ALLDERS. There was British Home Stores was another one. A lot of the shops, the big shops, had closed down now. So yeah, it's not the same now as it used to be. When ALLDERS was there, it was interesting to go and look around and well, actually, I don't know whether that's sort of relevant, but when I worked for a shop, it was just, there was an entrance into the mall, and I think there was Telewest stand in the mall, and I went out through the entrance there, and people were standing around looking at the television there, and I thought it was a film, but it was actually the planes going into the Twin Towers, and I couldn't believe it. And that I was actually working that day, And to see all the people in the mall standing round, and I didn't think anything of it, just because I just thought it was a film, you know, and came to realise after that what had happened. But that was quite something, really, absolutely. But I just happened to be in that area, as I say, by the mall when that happened. Yeah, we had good times in Alders, good times.
What about the end of Alders?
That was sad, very sad, isn't it? Yeah, yeah.
What do you think was the reason for the demise?
Well, yeah, I mean, it was taken over by, I think his name was Terry something, and I don't know, it seemed to go downhill after that. And they moved the glass and china department up to the second floor, which was crazy really, because people came in and instead of seeing all the lovely glassware, it was a shoe department. So they wouldn't bother coming in to look around. They didn't want to have to go upstairs to see. And that was the downfall, I think, of anyway, china and glass of the store, I think. I don't know why it was moved upstairs, which is a shame.
You know, you see the inner town of Croydon today, and of course the ALLDERS building is still there. What will happen to the building in the future?
Gosh knows, I don't know, because my daughter took some photos of the hoardings and everything they put up outside, and they cleaned up all the outside, but I don't know what really is going to happen behind all that, really. I just wished they could do something useful with it, really.
What would you suggest to do with it?
Put Alders back together again. That's what I'd love. Oh gosh, that will never happen. I just hope they don't turn it into accommodation, or I don't know, another cinema or nothing like that. Something that would be useful for people, really, I suppose, would be good. I don't know what they're planning. There's so many stories you hear. It's just a shame that they haven't decided, I don't think, yet what they're going to do there. When I was in Alders, it was really enjoyable to go to work there. It was like working for a family. Everyone was really helpful, and we had a happy time in Alders. It would be nice if people were really kind to each other and helped each other out, as we did then. You could ask anyone, any of the managers or staff there. That would be lovely. They would always be helpful to you. This one and this one was taken in the grotto that Keith, our display, in charge of the displays, did, and he always did a beautiful job. And then we've got the Christmas party for the children, which was organised by all the Alders people. We've got that one where they were meeting Father Christmas. My granddaughter here said, "Where is your sleigh?" And he said, "I always park it up on the roof of Alders because we can't get in otherwise." So that was what she told me. These are all the children looking for the entertainment. We had lots of children there as well. And that's another one. So these, and this one was from the party, but this is Maureen Money that worked in Alders with her grandson. And then we got there's some staff here. That's me in the middle, and that's Margaret that worked for Ladro, and Eileen, who worked for Royal Worcester. And then we've got here me in the middle, Maureen, who's in this photo here, who used to work with us, and Judy, who used to work for Stuart Crystal. This was on our stand at Shot Sweezel. And that is some of our display of the glassware in shot. This lady, Joyce Nye, when she was 60, she retired, because they used to have to retire then when you were that age, but she worked for Stuart Crystal. We've got the ALLDERS grotto for Father Christmas in ALLDERS. And then we had the Family Fun Day, which was ALLDERS from all around the country came. All the coach loads would arrive at the Royal Russell School. Lots of fun things to do. Little stands of, yeah, quite interesting. So that was what we've got for our photos. But it was such a beautiful day. It was in July, I think, in 2000.